So that was for Wiszo. The idea for Wiszo came up. Of course, I did nothing about it for a few years. Again, like yourself, younger family, working, flying about the place, all of that. But with lockdown, I said, "Oh, I've got a bit of time here," and I went to the university, one of the universities in Belfast here, Queen's University, and I asked the School of Chemistry, the professor at the School of Chemistry, would it be possible to design a fizzy tablet that releases colour and fragrance that's very benign. And although the laboratories were locked down most of the time, he said, "Oh, we have a student here, a PhD student, who'll be able to work on that for you." I got some money approved from Invest Northern Ireland, which is the sort of industrial development authority. I put a submission in saying I'd like to research this, and I got an answer the next day. "You're approved, please, here's some money." Well, that was luck. I don't know if it was luck or I don't know how that worked, but it happened in 24 hours. So that was the start of Wiszo. We got a second piece of research done. I genuinely sat down with a former colleague of mine who was an accountant, quite a straight-laced person, over a cup of coffee, and I said, I've been doing this work in the background for the last 6 months. I'd like your thoughts, because I knew that he wouldn't be able to not tell me the truth because he doesn't work that way. And he said, that's the best idea I've ever heard. Completely straight face.
Well, I mean,
that's a business. So that was the birth of Wiszo. Yeah, I came up with a name, and I'm sticking with it. And we set up Wiszo, and we have been working on refining it, developing it, trialing it for the last sort of 3 years, and we're about to launch Wiszo on the market. It'll probably be the first or second week of April. Okay,
that's nice.
But we've done all sorts of trials, Ramon, which have been independent of us, carried out by others, UK water companies, a couple of other different businesses, Arup, who you might be familiar with, a student accommodation building, which is just like being at home, okay? And the results have just been really, really positive. People really like it. People understand the why. The why is crucial. And when you have a little bit more education, you'll really get it. So it's a behavioural change thing, Ramon. And just to be clear, I suppose I should describe what it does right now. Would that help? So the idea is that you use a Wiszo, you have a pee, you drop a Wiszo in the toilet, it fizzes up, releases a recognisably clean blue colour and a nice fragrance. So it masks whatever's there, and you don't flush. So you'll avoid a flush. You'll avoid that volume of water. You'll save the carbon and chemicals associated with that volume of water being released or being used. And because, generally speaking, the cost of the Wiszo is about half the cost of the flush, you'll get a financial return on your use of Wiszo. So it's use avoidance. You might avoid one flush, you might avoid two, you might avoid three, but then somebody use the toilet for a different purpose and bring it back to the start. So it's about flush avoidance, interim flush avoidance. It's not long term. You're not going to not flush for a day or 2 days, but you might avoid 2 flushes at a time, flush, avoid another 2, and flush.